What's up, guys? We are here to do probably our last show before Christmas. It's the college football playoff first round, first time for our game day pick'ems. What's up, guys? It is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here to do game day pick'ems. This is week 17, season 3, and this is the first round ever for the college football playoffs. We got home college football playoff games, John.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exciting.
it's pretty exciting to have home games. I love, out of all the things that college football seems to get wrong, because here lately there's a lot of things that need some work. But the college football playoff first round being at home, home games, I love that.
I'm with you.
All right, guys. So if you're with us on Facebook, we appreciate you. You can help support us by sending stars, or you can subscribe to our page. It's only 99 cents a month. It does help us continue to make content for you guys. Every little bit helps, and we appreciate you. If you're on Facebook, we appreciate you as well. And before we get started, we are on WSBN TV channel 30, as well as the Real Fresh channel. And we appreciate both of those partners. And we are partnered with Stadium Rant and riding with Stadium Rant now. So we appreciate every single partner. And we just want to say that right off the top of the show. All right, John, we are going to start with a bowl game tomorrow, actually. We are going to start with, if I can find it here, these are DraftKings spreads, and I got them this evening. The first game we're going to talk about, John, is Tulane versus Florida. Florida is a 10.5-point favorite versus Tulane in this game. This is played tomorrow. What do you think about Tulane's chances here? You know, a few years ago, Tulane knocked off USC in a big bowl game. Florida's been playing pretty good.
I will say
Tulane kind of struggled down the stretch.
I will say that I'm kind of jumping on the Florida wagon here because, you know, Tulane's quarterback, most don't know, Darian Mensah, he was having a really great year, and he put his name into the portal, and now they're having to go to Ty Thompson. And, you know, unfortunately, he's been a back. He was a back. He spent 3 years as a backup with Oregon, and he's only attempted 11 passes so far for Tulane. It kind of knocks him out of rhythm in a way for me.
Yeah.
And the thing about Florida, you know, you got DJ Lagway. He's seen most of the action this year under center. He's been really, really good. The running game's really good with Florida, Jaden Ball and Montrell Johnson Jr. Elijah Badger is one of their top targets. Shamir Dyke is behind him, really, really good. Florida's defense at times has been kind of here and there. You don't know what you're going to get with Florida on the defense side of the ball. They struggled early in the year.
I think they've come on pretty good towards the last half of the season.
They did last half of the year. DJ Searcy, he entered the transfer portal. He had 34 tackles for Florida this year. They had some guys hit the portal. For me, Tulane they don't have a lot of momentum. They've lost 2 straight. They lost the AAC championship to Army in ugly fashion. Florida has won 3 games in a row. They beat a really good Ole Miss team. Like I said, Tulane's playing without its number 1 quarterback. When they got a good rushing offense, Florida does, with Montrell Johnson Jr. and Jaden Ball. And I think they're going to try to run more than they pass in this game. And the Gators have been really sharp on the defensive side of the ball the last 3-4 games. They've only given up 20 or fewer points in the last 4 or 6 games. So give me Florida. I think they covered this spread. Had Tulane had their quarterback, Mensa, I think this would probably be a different game. But with Ty Thompson under center, it's going to be majorly hard to beat this Florida team that's riding in on some momentum right now.
I mean, I agree with you. I love what Summerall has done. I love what he's done in the last few years. It's not just at Tulane. This is so I'm going to take Florida in this one. The 10.5 scares me a little bit, but I think I'm going to take Florida to cover. All right, the first game we're going to talk about college football playoffs is tomorrow night. Indiana at Notre Dame. Notre Dame, John, is a 7-point favorite at home. These are home games.
They overcame that upset, like you said, to Northern Illinois. They run the table to the college football playoffs. They closed the season with 10 straight wins. They're, like you said, they're 11-1. They lost to Northern Illinois, I think, back in September. They beat 4 top 25 teams this year. The thing about Notre Dame, they're not going to take Indiana lightly because of who they are, because they're playing respectable right now. It's been an unbelievable season for Kirk Cignetti. They surprised half of the college football world this year.
In-state team. I mean, these are 2 in-state teams going at it.
They
football playoff.
The Hoosiers ended the year out with a big win over Purdue, 66-0. Curtis Rourke has started 11 of 12 games. He's had an unbelievable season. They have really solid running backs in Justice Ellison, Tyson Lawton, and Kalen Black. They have 6 different receivers that have at least 20 catches. Elijah Sarrett led the team with 8 touchdowns. Defensively, the Hoosiers are led by Aiden Fisher. He's playing really, really good. Their edge rusher, Mikael Kamara, is really good. Amar Farrell is really, really good for Indiana. Their defense is really, really impressive. But they're going up against a really good Notre Dame team that can run the football. Notre Dame is really notorious for the round and pound. And I think Indiana comes into this game with a chip on its shoulder. They've just got the one loss to Ohio State, which they played really well early, and Ohio State kind of put them away in the third and fourth quarters. Indiana's going to have to play, I think, at a real slow pace, I think, and they're going to have to control the time, the TOP, and I think this will come down to the wire. Both teams are, like you said, the state of Indiana is buzzing with this matchup. I think this Hoosier team has a lot of motivation to win this game, and that's why I'm going to take the Hoosiers to pull the upset tonight or tomorrow. I like Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's a great team.
Okay.
But I don't think Notre Dame's really played anybody up till this game. that has been able to kind of give them a little pressure, and I think Indiana gives that to them tomorrow.
I mean, Signetti's going to have them ready to fired up and ready to play. I will say that. And, Rourke's had a great year. I think my thing is for Indiana to win this game, I feel like they got to score 30 or above.
Yeah, that's where they're going
to
have
win
to
this game. Can they do
least.
that?
Can
they do that against this Notre Dame defense?
Notre Dame's defense is good.
They have. But can they do that against this Notre Dame defense, possibly in the snow at home in South Bend? Mm-hmm. They're calling for some snow. I don't know how much, but possibly some snow, low 20s tomorrow night for this game in South Bend.
Notre Dame's defense is solid. They're led by Xavier Watts. They got Riley Mills, that's really, really good. Jack Kaiser, Jaden Usbury. They got a really good front four, and they're really going to pressure Indiana and try to make them, be one-dimensional. Xavier Watts has, I think, 17 interceptions on the year. So this secondary for Notre Dame is pretty intense, pretty legit. And Indiana's going to have to come to play if they want to win this game.
I think that's where Indiana could get in trouble if they try to drop back and just pass. They do have a couple of decent running backs.
They do.
That I don't think that get enough credit.
They do. They got Jadarian Price, and I think they got Jeremiah Love. Love was really big in the A&M game early in the year. And Riley Leonard has really come on the last 4 or 5 games. He struggled early in the season. He especially in the Northern Illinois game, he struggled really bad. But they pulled it together, and I think they'll compete tomorrow. But I think I'm going to take the upset here with Indiana.
All right.
I think Indiana has a shot to win this game.
I think I'm going to take Notre Dame and the Irish in this game. I love what Signetti has done. I mean, to get Indiana, if you would have told me even 4 months ago, much less a year ago, that Indiana would be one of the 12 teams that makes the college football playoff, the first 12-team playoff, I would have told you guys that you have lost your ever-loving mind.
Yeah.
There's just no way. I would have never, ever, ever, ever said that would have happened. Beyond all these, SMU, Boise, the one team that's in this field, to me, that is just simply amazing that they're there is Indiana. And the job that Signetti has done.
And add to that, Carson Beck is not going to be playing the quarterfinals. So whoever wins this game is going to be going up against a backup for Georgia. So it's reasonable to believe that one of these teams could go to Athens and make some noise and maybe upset the Dogs.
That is true. That is very true. The job Signetti's done just to get them there, and I think they're going to compete tomorrow. I don't think this is going to be a blowout or nothing. I'm predicting a 31-23 Notre Dame win. That's what I'm predicting. That's a slight cover for Notre Dame. It's 7 points, and I got them at 8. 31-23. That's what I'm predicting. All right, guys. The next game we're going to talk about, these games are on Saturday and the 21st. And the first game of the day is SMU is at Penn State. Penn State is an 8.5-point favorite in Happy Valley. Again, playoff game here at home. the wideout for Happy Valley. But I will say this: they're down a couple. They're down their backup quarterback who had a package on this team. Had 9 total touchdowns, 4 on the ground, 5 through the air. He had a package on this team, and he is in the transfer portal and not playing. Is that going to hurt this offense?
I don't think so. I think Drew Aller is going to take care of things. They got 2 backs that are probably splitting in the backfield with Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. They're really, really good. They got a really good tight end in Tyler Warren. They got an awesome wide receiver in Harrison Wallace. They're 25th in the nation in scoring. I never thought I would have heard that statement, that they're leading probably the country in scoring points. They finally got an offense, and their defense is really, really good. Abdul Carter.
SMU's defense is pretty sneaky good.
Is going to be
they're 17th in the country.
Top pick. Abdul Carter is going to be a top pick in the draft. Penn State. Here's my thing with Penn State, Brad. They played 2 elite teams this year, and they lost both of them. Oregon State or Ohio State and Oregon. SMU has won 2 games against ranked opponents. Kevin Jennings is a really good quarterback for SMU. He's also a threat to run. SMU is 6th in the country in scoring. I think this game's going to be a shootout. SMU is kind of that team that's kind of flying under the radar. And I think they'll put up a strong fight, keeping this game close. But I think when it's all said and done, I think Penn State wins this game. Give me SMU in the points. I just think that it being in Happy Valley, it's going to be a tough environment for SMU to overcome. But I think SMU comes, and I think they compete. I think they hang in this game for 4 quarters.
Here's a big difference, and I've made a big deal about this, about the transfer portal and the Penn State backup and everything else. But I have to say something while I'm talking about this game. Preston Sloan, who started the year as the starter and was replaced by Jennings, is the backup quarterback for SMU. He is in the transfer portal, but is staying and playing in this game for Rhett Lashley. I just want to point that out. You don't have to leave your team. You have completed the semester. You don't have to leave your team. And sometimes people choose to, and sometimes people choose not to. Preston Sloan, who's the backup quarterback, started out as the starter for SMU, is playing in this game.
Yep.
Just want to point that out, that there is a difference sometimes. I think this game's going to be much closer than people think. I'm going to take SMU in the points in this game. I kind of think Penn State wins this, but I think it's going to be within a touchdown game. I think this SMU team is going to be it's going to have a lot of fight in them. The 2 games they did lose were both by field goals at the end. They lost both of them by 3 points.
They didn't lay over. Clemson had that, 10-point lead, and they continued to play. They didn't lay down.
17-point lead. And they come back and tie it.
17-point, yeah.
Yeah.
SMU is led by a really good coach in Rhett Lashley, and they're not going to go to Happy Valley and just lay down. They're going to play. They're going to.
No, I don't think so either, man. I really expect to see this SMU team compete.
Yep, I do too.
Yeah. Now, I think Penn State probably wins this game. I don't like the point spread. I think SMU is going to keep this a lot closer than people think, and I say take SMU in the 8.5 points on DraftKings tonight.
Yeah.
That's what I say. All right, the next one is a pretty big. This is blue bloods. Clemson at Texas. Clemson gets in simply because they figured out a way to back their way into the ACC championship game, and then won it. I mean, and Dabo always has his team ready to play. They're going to be fired up for a chance to play in this game. This is in Austin, John. Texas is a 12-point favorite in this game, the highest point spread out of all these games, first-round games.
I think
it is the 5-12 matchup as well.
I think some of that is due to I feel like it's just as kind of like a bounce-back game for Texas. They've only lost twice. Both of them was to Georgia. They were a kick away from being the SEC champions. They're led by Quinn Ewers. He's completed 66% of his passes this year. You got Matthew Golden, Gunnar Helm, Quantravion Wisner, Jaden Blue. This is a really good offense that Texas has. And then there's sometimes where they just go in lulls where they don't play real great. And I don't think that's going to happen at home. Now, Clemson can score. They got some good players. Bryant Westco. They got Antonio Williams. They got Phil Maffa. Cade Klubnik is the quarterback for Clemson. They can score. But I don't think it's going to be enough to beat Texas, especially at home. Texas is going to be kind of, I wouldn't say angry, but they're going to be motivated to win this football game. And I think Texas takes care of business in this game. If Texas gets up big, I just don't think Clemson has enough weapons to keep this a game. I think they kind of lay down at the end.
John, my question to you is this: which Clemson team is going to show up?
Is it
the Clemson team that played Louisville, or is it the Clemson team that played SMU?
That's the question. You don't know what you're going to get with them. That's sort of like how you feel with Texas, though, because Texas, the Vandy game, they played around with it and almost lost. Kentucky hung tight with them for the third or fourth quarter. Like, this is a game where you don't want that to happen with a team like Clemson, because if you do, you can lose. But I think Sark will have them motivated, ready to play, and I think they move on to the quarterfinals.
Dabo and Riley will dial some stuff up here, and
yeah, they're going.
Riley is. I'm talking about what's his first? It's Lincoln Riley's brother. What's his first name, John? I'm drawing a blank.
I'm drawing a blank as well.
I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, it's his brother. He's the offensive coordinator there.
Garrett Riley?
He's the one that orchestrated Garrett
Riley.
Yeah, that's it. He was the orchestrator of the TCU offense that made it to the championship game just a few years ago. Garrett Riley was. So, they'll dial some stuff up here in this game. And here's the deal. If Texas can jump out early and grab a 21-7 lead in the second quarter or, something like that, then I think this game could be over pretty early in the second, second half. If Clemson takes their defense like they did with SMU and creates a couple of turnovers early and keeps this game close or has a lead, then this could be a lights-out close game. It just depends on which Clemson team shows up, because early in the Louisville game, I wasn't even sure that Clemson was there. South Carolina, I didn't think Clemson played all that well at the end of the season there.
I didn't either.
So it really just depends on which Clemson team shows up. Now, I think Dabo will have them ready, and I am expecting this to be a fairly close game for most of this game. The 12 kind of scares me, but I think I'm going to take this as a like a 31-17 win and call this a 14-point win by Texas at home. And watch out for Arch Manning in this one. I think he could step in and play some kind of role. And I don't know if it's this game, but if they last and move on in the college football playoff, I am expecting to see an Arch Manning sighting for Texas. All right, John, your favorite team to talk about?
The Vols.
Tennessee Vols are going to Ohio State University.
I'm going to say this. Tennessee enters this game with a ton of momentum. They've won their last two.
7.5 point. They're the 7.5 point underdogs. That seems high to me, John.
There's two things that Tennessee does really, really good. They run the ball probably the best in the country. Dylan Sampson is really, really good.
It's yours.
Dante Thornton Jr. is one of their wideouts. Brew McCoy. They're really, really good offensively, but they've had some clunkers this season. The Arkansas game being one, Georgia game being one. I'm going to tell you what's going to keep Tennessee in this game, Brad, is their defense. It's elite. They held Arkansas to 19 points. They held Kentucky to 18. They just conceded more than 20 points in two games. They did give up 31 to Georgia. The pass defense is really, really good. Rush defense is like 8th, I think, in the country. But here's the problem. You got a freshman quarterback going into the shoe. And he's had some clunkers.
Yeah.
And he's had some clunkers.
I kind of agree with you on that one.
Like I said, and Ohio State has, I think, I think they're more reliable at this point. I think they have a better passing game than Tennessee, which should make a difference in this game. And Ohio State has not given up a lot either on defense. I think this is going to be one of those knockdown, drag-out type games that somebody's defense is going to have to stand up, and whoever gets enough points is going to win. Now, if this was at a neutral site,
Tennessee running back might cause a little problem.
He will. If this was a neutral
defense,
if this was a neutral site game, I could probably go with Tennessee here. But this is at the shoe at night. The place is going to be rowdy. So I'm going to take the Buckeyes to cover the spread.
So you're saying there will be no flag planting?
There will be no flag planting in this game. Not in this game, no. No, not in this game.
Oh, me. Sorry, I had to.
Not in this game.
We won't need any new law by the legislation, the Ohio law, or whatever it is.
Not Saturday, we won't, no.
Oh, me. People, calm down. It's just a football game. Okay, so, I agree with you here, man. If Ryan Day loses this game, I think Ohio's going to lose their mind. I think the whole state of Ohio
I'm going to go
lose their mind.
I'm going to go even. I'm going to go.
Let's be honest.
I'm going to go a step further here. If Ryan Day, say, loses this game, I wouldn't be shocked if he was fired.
There's just such a high buyout. They're saying that he probably won't. But man, there's going to be a lot of people wanting him gone if they lose this game.
Yep.
I'm not even playing. Yeah, Jared, there's some talk about the Tennessee taking up tickets at the game. I'll believe it when I see it. I don't really believe that. That would be at the shoe. I mean, that would be something else if that's true. I'll believe it when I see it Saturday night if that's true.
Now, I have heard that there's going to be quite a bit of Tennessee fans there. There's going to be quite a bit.
I can't imagine them taking 38, almost 40% of the tickets, though.
If they do,
in a playoff game,
could you imagine?
I can't imagine that.
Can you imagine if they did, though?
But yeah. All right, so let's be real here for a second. Ohio State spent $20 million on a roster, NIL. They have one of the best rosters in college football. They cannot afford to bow out, not only lose to Michigan and not make the Big Ten championship game, to bow out in the first round of the playoffs. I'm going to take Ohio State to win this game. The 7.5 kind of scares me a little bit because I'm going to be honest with you. Of the two coaches, the one that has the most fire, I'm going to take Tennessee here. I'm not so sure I like Ryan Day in these tight matchups and against good teams. So I'm expecting this to be a tight game. I'm taking Ohio State for the win. If I'm betting this game, I think I'm betting Tennessee. And I think everybody knows how I feel about Tennessee. I'm pretty sure. All right, next Thursday, let's do this one pretty quick. We got Rutgers versus Kansas State in the bowl game. It is a 7-point spread.
I feel like Kansas State is kind of going on the opposite end of the spectrum here. But Rutgers is kind of off and on.
They're 7-5. Kansas State is 8-4.
I'm going to pick K-State in this game, but K-State has not impressed me much this year. They've had some doozies. I'm going to take K-State in this game as well. But I do think
Rutgers is better than people think.
Which I do think they'll beat Rutgers, though. So,
yeah. All right, we are going to switch to basketball. I have 8 games over the weekend, 7 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. We're going to switch to basketball, John. This is the one game on the road where the road team is favored. This is tomorrow. St. John's is a 6-point favorite at Providence, and this is a conference game.
Mm-hmm. I like the Friars, especially if Bryce Hopkins plays. Offensively, Providence is probably going to have a chance to hit some shots. Amica Mutual Pavilion is a tough place to play. I call it the Duncan Center. It was always a tough environment to play in. And St. John's is going to know about that Friday night. I'm going to take the Friars here. Plus, the Friars, like I said, haven't lost at home. And St. John's hasn't played on the road yet. So this is going to be a tough environment. It kind of
surprised me that St. John's was a 6-point favorite.
Yeah.
On the road.
Just a little. That's probably It's probably the if and ands if Bryce Hopkins plays. If Bryce Hopkins is there,
right.
I think here's my thing about that. When Bryce Hopkins is playing, Providence can be a top 15, 20 team. When he's not playing, it kind of goes south a little bit. So,
I agree with you.
Give me the
Sorry,
Friars.
I had to take a drink.
Oh, you good? Give me the Friars.
Yeah, I'm going to take Providence and take the 6 points. I think that's the smart play here. I mean, if St. John's does get the upset here on the road, I'm calling it upset. I think it'll be within 6 points. So I'm going to take Providence here in this one. And then tomorrow night, Dayton is playing Cincinnati. Now, I don't think this is technically at home, but it is in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And it is Cincinnati is a 3-point favorite. That's not their home court, is it? That this game is played at.
Here's the thing, Cincinnati's kind of been the one game you get a good Cincinnati team and you get
they look good.
Yeah, it's just I
think you got to rely on a lot of 3-pointers, and I think that's part of it.
I think you got to give the edge to Dayton. Dayton is really, really good offensively. They rank first in the country in fewest turnovers.
Defensively too.
They're good defensively. Cincinnati is too. Cincinnati, I think, ranked 8th in the country. I think they're also tough to score against on the perimeter. This is a game where both teams are evenly matched. And I think it's going to come down to whoever gets that offensive rebound or, hits their free throws. I believe both of these teams are evenly matched. But I like the fact that I just feel like Dayton's the better shooting team here. Cincinnati's a good shooting team, but I feel like Dayton is better when it comes to overall percentage. And that's
Dayton
why
got a big win last week.
They did. I mean, they got some really good. They got Malachi Smith, the Santos. This is a fun group to watch. If you haven't watched Dayton, tomorrow night would be a good time to watch them. They're on national TV. They beat UConn. This is a really good basketball team.
It is. They had an upset last week. Now they're getting Cincinnati. And this is 2 ranked teams.
Yeah, they beat Marquette last week. So,
really, this is 2 ranked teams. So this should be a fun game tomorrow night. I think I'm with you. I like Dayton. I like this Dayton team. I mean, I watched them against UConn, and I'm thinking, man, what if this team still had Kobe Bryant? I'm talking Elite 8, maybe Final 4 team. I mean, that's how good this team would be, I believe.
Yeah,
if they still had Kobe Bryant.
They'd be in the mix.
So give me the Flyers in that one. Now, these games are Saturday. There is no point spread yet on these games, or there wasn't a few hours ago. Ohio State versus Kentucky. This is part of the CBS Classic. This is the second game of the CBS Classic on Saturday night.
I like Kentucky here. Ohio State, for me, is just too inconsistent right now. They're, they beat Texas first game. They lost to A&M. They lost to Auburn by a wide margin last week. Like they're playing without. They played without
dog stomped.
Well, and then now they're without Michie Johnson, the former South Carolina star. He's went on a leave of absence. They've been without Aaron Bradshaw. there's just a lot of things going on with this Ohio State team. Now I will say they got some really good shooters in Bruce Thornton, Royal in the middle. When they're playing their game, I think they can play with anybody in the Big Ten, but it's just which Ohio State team are you going to get? And I just think Kentucky takes care of this game, and I think they go to 11-1 and enjoy the 10-day break.
I'm with you, man. We watched that Ohio State Auburn game, parts of it together last week.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of talking, I mean, just wow. I mean, it was just this Ohio State team looked absolutely lost in that game. Meechie Johnson being out. I mean, who knows what's going to go on with Aaron Bradshaw? He's been out. I don't know if he'll be back for this game. This is against his former team. He may want to come back and play in this game tomorrow. We'll see, or not tomorrow, but Saturday. So, I mean, I'm taking Kentucky in this game all day. Kentucky should win this game. Honestly, if they don't win by 15 or 20 after Auburn dog walked them, I'm going to be upset. I'm just being honest. All right. In the first game of the CBS Classic, we get UCLA versus North Carolina. Hammonds, What in the world is going on with North Carolina? They're 6-5.
Their biggest issue is they don't have their front court. Their back court is probably their best unit.
I mean, they only had 8 years to get a backup to Baycat or Backett, whatever his name was.
Baycott.
Armando Baycott.
And I'm going to be honest
years to get a backup to him. I mean, come on.
I'm going to be honest with you. They're 6-5 right now. They're 0-4 against teams ranked inside the top 10. Their only quality win is Dayton. That's it.
And they barely survived that. And to be quite honest with you, there was a couple of calls at the end of that game that really and truthfully, I thought Dayton should have won that game.
I'm going to tell you, Brad, the ACC to me is just not a good conference this year. Where are they going to go to get a quad one game? They have to beat UCLA. Maybe Duke will be a quad one game. Maybe Clemson.
UCLA's 10-1. But I don't think the country realizes it, but UCLA is 10-1.
It's going to take a winning streak, I think, for North Carolina to get in the tournament. I'm going to say this, and a lot of North Carolina fans might not like this, but if they lose this game Saturday, they're probably not getting to the tournament.
I mean, they're going to have to go on one hell of a run in the ACC and win it, be second, something like that, to make it.
They are. And
if they lose this game on
it's
Saturday.
going to take, they could still get a bid beating Duke and some of those teams. But I think to get at least in the conversation, I think they got to win this game Saturday. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. They got to win this game. Dig in, grind it.
Let me ask you about, while we're on this real quick, let me ask you about Hubert Davis. I mean, honestly, a real talk. Should he survive this? If they don't make the tournament, like what the possibility, do you think he will survive it? Should he survive it? Or will they move on from Hubert Davis?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of fans that are not happy with him right now. But I think, we had the year, a couple of years ago where they didn't make the tournament. They went in the tournament kind of on a slow streak, and they went to the championship game. It's been up and down in his time at North Carolina a little bit, except for the championship season. If they can
The one
put
hot streak that they
here's
got
my
on.
thing. If they can put together a performance like they did against Florida in the second half against a team like UCLA, they could possibly win this game. UCLA has a good defense, so they're not going to get nothing easy. Mick Cronin plays a really fun style of defense. They get after you. They that's from his time at Cincinnati. The way he played at Cincinnati, they did the same.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you, as much as I want to pick North Carolina, I just can't pick them right now, man. They're not playing well. They're just they're lost. R.J. Davis is, does he look mortal at this point? There's not a lot to be happy about.
What's strange is him and Caleb Love across the country, both of them are on bad teams right now.
Yeah, they're not playing good. Give me
They had that
UCLA.
feud. They both had that feud that year.
Yeah. Give me UCLA in this game. I think UCLA wins this game. I do. I just North Carolina's going to have
UCLA as well.
They're going to have an uphill
North
climb.
Carolina just does not look good.
They do not. No.
But they could win it. I'm not saying they can't. Like you said, they played good in the second half against Florida. But all right, Marquette at Xavier. Marquette last week lost at Dayton. That game was at Dayton on the weekend. This is at Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happens in this one, John?
Xavier took UConn to the limit. Was it last night? I felt like they played really, really well. Marquette's going on the road for the first time. Marquette was
conference.
I felt like Marquette just did not play good. Against
that
Dayton.
Dayton game was at Dayton.
And I felt like they didn't play good against Butler, but they ended up winning that game. Dante Maddox is really, really good for Xavier. He played absolutely outstanding in the game against UConn, hitting big shot after big shot. They got Ryan Conwell. He's playing really, really good. The biggest thing for me is them having Zach Fremantle out. That's their house, and he cannot stay healthy for anything. That's been what 2 years where he's been injured, and I feel like it's kind of
derailed for Xavier without.
It's kind of derailed what they wanted to do. I like this Marquette team. I think Cam Jones is the Player of the Year candidate in my book. I think I'm going to pick Marquette, but this is going to be a tight game because Xavier is really, really good when they play at home. The Census Center is a hard environment.
I'm agreeing with you on this one as well. I hate to stay agreeing with you on everything, but Xavier being down a couple of guys, I think, is going to hurt them. So give me Marquette in this game. And then we're going to move on. This was a kind of enticing game, I thought, here, John. Mississippi State is going and playing at Memphis, the FedEx Forum. And Memphis is playing really, really well. Mississippi State is playing really well. Who do you think comes out on top of this game?
I like Memphis in this game, but I wouldn't put it past Mississippi State to win this. Clemson has had some doozies. They go on that run in the Maui, then they lose to Arkansas State. They get behind in the Clemson game, come back and win it.
But John, Memphis leads the country in quad one wins. They have 7 quad one wins.
It's amazing, honestly,
already
what Penny Hardaway has done this year with what he's got coming out of the transfer portal. A lot of people didn't expect Memphis to do what they've been doing, and he's just kind of put it out there that
the next closest teams have 5, and Memphis has 7.
Mississippi State's good
Quad
too.
one win.
They got Josh Hubbard, Charles Matthews. They're a fun team to watch. Chris Jans is one of the best defensive coaches in the league in the SEC. The issue with Mississippi State for me is I
Going to
respect
the pyramid though.
I respect
They don't
Mississippi
call it the
State,
pyramid
but
anymore.
they're very inconsistent at times. Like some of the games that they play, some of these mid-major games, they let little teams hang around.
To be honest with you, Memphis is too, though.
They are. So I think I'm going to take Memphis here. I like them at home, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mississippi State won this game either.
I'm going to take the SEC, and Memphis kind of snuck one out last night on the road. I didn't think they played great last night, to be honest with you. I'm going to go SEC here and say Mississippi State sneaks out a win on the road and be a little different. We can't run through the whole thing just alike. So, all right, John, this is two 9-3 teams. Wake Forest and Clemson are both 9-3. We were just talking about the ACC. You know, they need a team or two like this to step up. Clemson looks like they were going to when they beat Kentucky at home, but they have lost two since.
I think they come back here and win the game Saturday. I think that they play at Little John Coliseum, and I think it's kind of like one of those bounce back games. And I think Clemson takes care of business at home. Wake Forest to me is just kind of here and there. You just don't know what you're going to get with them. And I think
they're both 9-3. I just threw this in there for to like I said, the ACC needs a team or two to step up because who are you going to get quad one wins against? Well, these are 9-3 teams. Clemson could be one of those teams if they can step up.
Yeah, they can. You know, we saw that when they played Memphis. We saw that when they played Kentucky, where they won that game. Like, Clemson's a really, really good basketball team, but there's just times where they get inconsistent, especially in conference play and in certain ways. And I feel like this is one of those games where they kind of bounce back and they kind of get back to where they need to be.
That's fair. I mean, this is at Little John. I expect Clemson to win this, but like I said, since the Kentucky game, they've already lost two. So they cannot afford to have the Demon Deacons come in and beat them at home.
Mm-mm.
They got to win this game at home.
They do.
All right, John, this one is on Sunday. This is not a Saturday game. This is the last men's basketball game we're going to talk about. This one is on Sunday.
Yep.
You got a 7-3 Illinois team that has lost some close, good games.
This is the annual bragging rights game.
Yeah,
This is a rivalry. Yeah. So I like this Missouri team. I think they're really, really good. Tamar Bates is really, really good. Illinois has a outstanding freshman in Will Riley. This Illinois team's fun to watch.
This is not in Columbia. This game is a neutral site game in St. Louis.
Should have beat Tennessee last weekend. Had them on the ropes. I'm interested to see how the SEC fares in this one because you got the Big Ten against the SEC. You got, like you said, Mississippi State, Memphis. Like, can the SEC continue their little mini run before Christmas and get it started into SEC play is where I want to see where this goes. But I like Illinois in this game. I like Missouri, but I think Illinois has just a little bit better team than Missouri does.
Yeah. That's
Are you there?
Must be signals
Huh?
messing up or something for just a minute
I,
here.
I couldn't hear you. It was.
All right.
Are you there?
Do you got me now?
Yeah, I got you. It
Now?
keeps you keep. It's kind of like you're going silent all at once. You're not talking. I don't know. Well,
I don't know. It just started all of a sudden.
I don't know.
I'm not exactly sure. We were kind of good there for a minute, and then all of a sudden it's kind of, I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. It has to do with the signals, all I can tell you. All right. Illinois, Missouri. Who you got?
I got Illinois in this game.
Yeah, I think Illinois probably should, but I'm going to go different. I'm going to take Missouri in this one. All right, I'm going to try real quick to switch to 4 women's games. Alabama versus Michigan State. This is in a Holiday Classic game. Michigan State is ranked. Alabama is just outside of the rankings, but they're like 9-1 or something like that. Alabama is. So, John, this is on women's. Who you got in this game?
I think I'm going to take Michigan State in this game. They faced their biggest test Sunday. Against Iowa. They locked them down in the fourth quarter, and this is one of their.
Looks really good.
This is one of their best starts in school history. Give me Michigan State in this game. I like Michigan State here.
So Alabama's got a really good player, Barker. She is fantastic, and they have a good team. They were picked about 5th or 6th in the SEC preseason, but this Michigan State team has looked really, really good so far. I'm going to take Michigan State in this one as well. And then the next one we're going to talk about, John, real quick, is Ohio State versus Stanford. This is also a Holiday Classic game, neutral site. Ohio State is ranked. Stanford is not. They're 8-3 after Vandermeer retired.
I will say I like this Ohio State team. They're really, really good. They got the Cambridge sisters. I think they're really, really good. They got Madison Green. She's really, really good guard. They got Petty, used to play for Kentucky. She's on that team.
Asia Petty is there.
Asia Petty's there. So
she is.
I think Ohio State wins this game, and I think they take care of business against Stanford. Stanford's having a tough season so far. I'm not saying they're 8.
It's tough for them. They're 8-3.
We're 8-3, but they're, that coach was a
but Stanford's used to being a top 5, top 10 team.
Yeah, they are every year.
Almost every year. Yeah. But their coach retired. Her, assistant is now the a coach for Stanford in her first year. So we'll see exactly, what she puts together. But I think I am going to take Ohio State in this game as well. for all the main reasons that you said. This Ohio State team they're ranked 11th in the country, and it's for a reason. This is a solid Ohio State team. All right, John, we're going to switch to Nebraska is going to Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech's coming off an impressive win versus North Carolina. And Georgia Tech is 12-0. They're still undefeated.
They are. They're looking really, really good. Georgia Tech's got a good team. They got Cara Dunn. She's a really good guard. Gabby Grooms. Deja Thomas Harris. She's a really good guard forward for them. This whole team is fun to watch. They knocked off North Carolina the other night. They beat a really good North Carolina team. This is a fun team to watch. I wouldn't be shocked if Georgia Tech is not playing for the ACC championship this year. That's how good of a team they got. They're really talented.
It could be. Nebraska, is got some girls. They're a good team as well. Going on the road here is probably going to be a tough game against these Yellow Jackets. I think Georgia Tech is coming off of a big win versus North Carolina. Maybe you catch them in a letdown, but 12-0 is 12-0.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Georgia Tech continues to win here at home. All right. This is the big women's game of the weekend. This is on Sunday. USC is taking on UConn. This is at Hartford, going across country, flying across country. Juju Watkins,
Paige Buckets
is taking on Paige Beckers.
I call her Buckets. Yep. Paige Buckets.
Like
she's a bucket.
This is get your popcorn. This is get your popcorn kind of game. I mean, when you got Juju Watkins taking on Paige Beckers.
I'm going to tell you.
You have to agree with me on that one.
I do. If this game was at USC or a neutral site, I would probably pick USC. But, man, UConn's tough to beat at home. They're good in Hartford, man. They're tough to beat.
And they got beat last week at Notre Dame.
Yeah, and they're going to be playing for some bounce back.
Like, Gino's going to have them so fired up and ready.
Yeah, he's going to have them prepared. He's a good motivator, and I like them in this game. I will say that Juju's going to put on a show, though. Juju always puts on a show. She's probably one of the best big girls.
This is the real Gottlieb, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught that or not, but this is the real Gottlieb.
Yeah.
That's their coach.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
The real. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I can't wait for this game. I'm really excited to see this game. This is going to be, like I said, get your popcorn ready. I mean, Juju Watkins going versus Paige. We're talking, somebody's going to have 30 points probably. Somebody's going to have 25, 26, 28, more than likely in this game. They're going to go at each other. These teams are going to go at each other. USC kind of needs this. They've dropped to 7th. They were number 2 coming into the season.
And I think too,
everybody need this. I mean, staying in the top 10 need this.
And I think either way, I look at this like especially with USC and UConn. I don't think one of these losses are really going to hurt them because they're both going to be in the hunt for a championship come March. I don't think it's really going to hurt them. Now, it might hurt seeding a little bit, but at the end of the day, they're both going to be in the mix to win a national championship. Just one game in the middle of December, in the end of December.
I agree with you, but USC, they Golly built this team, and they were expected to be a top 2 or 3 team. They go on the road and lose at Stores, then I'm telling you right now, they might fall out of the top 10-ish. I mean, they're going to fall to 9 or 10, somewhere in that range probably, if they get beat here. Can they climb back to a 1 seed? We'll see. I mean, they got to beat UCLA.
We'll see.
Ohio State is in the Big Ten now. I mean, there's some pretty good teams in that Big Ten.
I will say, quick, while we're on this topic, I do have an article coming out, Brad. I just wanted you to know, Saturday for the Ohio State. I just got emailed that it will be out Saturday morning at 8:00. The Ohio State Kentucky piece. So
the
preview for Ohio State Kentucky. So be on the lookout for it. This is the last game for 10 days, y'all. Me and Brad was talking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
You better enjoy the game while you're there, because 3 days there's going to be no basketball. It's going to be very slim.
This is true.
Women and men's. There's not going to be a lot.
All right. So I think I am going to take UConn in this game just to wrap that up.
That's what I'm going to take.
But
and by the way, Brad, while we're on this subject, Santa Claus needs to bring you an antenna while we're here.
It just comes and goes like it's going fine right now. I don't know.
Hey,
it's not supposed to, but
send Santa Claus a list for Christmas. Send him something on Christmas Eve, and he'll bring you something.
Yeah. All right, guys. It is Christmas. Speaking of that, it is Christmas here at College SportsCast. We want to wish everyone a happy, healthy, a safe, and a Merry Christmas. Honestly, we want to wish everybody Merry Christmas. Yeah. And we will not have a show for a little while. This will be our last show.
For about a week.
John and I are going to work something out. We're going to do a game day pick'em next week, but it'll probably be recorded.
Yeah, it'll probably be recorded.
And we will
probably
play it.
I'm guessing we won't be back till at least the 28th or 27th next week, if I'm guessing. So. Did it do it again? Oh, goodness.
It's just going in and out.